purpose of the Jehovah's Witness, but the idea was it was protecting the children. So even though the language of the Constitution seems absolute, once it goes to the courts, they do start weighing different factors that way. And I'm going to hand it over to you at this point because I'm drawing a blank.
Sir, can I have a chalk? I'll just explain it with chalk on that so that others will be able to see that. Okay. Many of my friends has already described about the reservation system, but I'll give you the origin of that. Like why these people have given the...
Can you come here?
Okay.
For the camera.
For the camera.
We want the world to see it.
Here.
There is a belief in Indian culture like how this caste system came into existence. So there is one God, I'll just picture him like this. Okay, he is the God Brahma, who is the creator of this whole earth. Okay, now this God has given birth to a particular sect through his head. Okay, that's why they are superior and they'll be called as the upper caste. There will be Brahmins. Then this God has given birth to a particular sect through his hands. So they are Kshatriyas. And Kshatriyas. Yeah, they will be the fighters. They will only fight. And these are through grades, so they are only having the right to education. No other people will be able to take education. And then the other legs, yeah, it's legs. Yeah, so they will be Vaishya. So these people will be doing farming and all. So this will be business and mainly farming. And then through legs, like the feet. So these will be the Shudras. And these people, these Shudras are untouchables. They don't have any right of education or any other right. Even if they will walk through the streets, people will they will be carrying with them under the broom will be attached to them so that they will be cleaning the path on which they are walking. And if they will hear something from these Brahmins, some educational thing or something, then the hot oil will be poured into their ears. Like they will be treated like the cheapest thing on the earth, like why they took birth. Okay, so this was the caste system, and that's why these people are giving reservations, because for many centuries they are not able to take anything, but when Britishers came, they gave them the right to education. That's why we are very grateful to Britishers that they gave us the right to education. Anyways, now I'm moving towards my topic, that is right to religion. India is a secular country, as we all know, even the Americans. But the word secular was not there in when the constitution is drafted. But then there was a debate in Constitutional Assembly known that there should be the right to religion expressly provided in the constitution. Then there was this debate, and in this debate K.M. Munshi, who was a traditionalist, he said no, it should be there because we want our society, our culture, our people to be a religious tolerant people. They should be tolerant to every religion. So in this way this religion came into existence. But even then, like till 42nd Amendment of Indian Constitution, the word secular was not expressly provided in the Indian Constitution. And after this 42nd Amendment, this word secular was provided in the preamble itself. As we all know, preamble is the key to the Constitution. So we just want to express it that we are secular. But I just want to give a dark picture of religion here. There are three cases through which I just want to give you a picture of what is the importance of religion in India. First is Babri Masjid. You would have read about it in newspaper as it is an international issue now. So in this, if you read this case, it is 8,000 judgment, 8,000 pages. In that, the issues like many centuries ago, one king came to here, one Muslim king, and he built a mosque, Babri Mosque. And now in this case, Hindus are claiming for the land. They are saying no, there was a Hindu temple over there, and they are raising the issues like Babur has no authority to build any mosque there. I don't understand, because like, who are you to ask about the authority of a king? He was a king. Now we can even say that British had no authority, so we are going to sue British. Like, no, British had no authority to came to India and do these things, so we are now asking that, okay, this land is ours, and the whole thing. And then the second case is of Godhra Khan. I even discussed this thing with them, that in Godhra, this BJP leader, Narendra Modi has he gave a task to his people, like Hindu people, that one person should kill at least 3 people, 3 Muslims. And when you will be going to jail, just use the code Jai Shri Ram. It means this the policeman will came to know that you are the person of Narendra Modi, and they will escape you from the jail without any bail, anything. So this is the importance of religion. Then in 90s, one Christian family were burnt into their own car with 2 children, 1 husband and wife, just because they are Christians. So this is the picture. Like, I don't know why we are calling it secular, but it is just on the paper. So it is just on the paper. I just want to explain it. But now, as we move to the Constitution, we are having these 4 rights which are fundamental from Article 25 to 29. 25 is saying freedom to religion. It means like you can you pray your God, and you are having all the rights regarding religion, but it should be, the limitations are public order, morality and health. And then 29 is religious institutions. You can have your own religious institution. For example, if a Christian person is having his institution, educational institution, and I am a Hindu, and I am asking for my admission there, then they cannot deny me on the basis that I am not a Christian and I am a Hindu. So this is all about religion. And I think the main problem lies that we don't have uniform civil code here. Various religions are having their own personal law, so this is creating so many problems. That's all.
There are some misconceptions about this diagram. This is a confusion among the Indians itself, so I could imagine a young person like Sumaira would have the same confusion. We had caste and we have varna. There are 2 different things. What she explained to you is varna. N-A, varna. These are 4 varnas. Actually, varna in true translation is called color, but that is not what we are looking here. So the Brahmins who are knowledgeable, head means knowledge, Kshatriya, hand is a power, and the Vaishyas, the thigh that's moving, force, anywhere you could go, trade with others. And the Shudras are the feet, that is, the people basically do the lower jobs. And these are immutable, that means you cannot change these 4 varnas. So in a society there is always these 4 varnas. But people can change their varna according to the original scripts of Hindu religion. If I was born in Shudra's family, I am not a Shudra. I could reach to Brahmin if I am clever. If I am a warrior, I can become Kshatriya. So that means your status is decided based on your ability. But the caste system, which is an offshoot of this varna, changed this whole concept. When the caste system has developed, The caste is decided by your birth. If I was born in Brahmin, I am a Brahmin. I may be the dumbest fellow in the world, but still I am a Brahmin. If I was born in Shudra, even I am clever, I am Shudra. That is for the caste, not for the Varna.
It's concretized after 50.
Yes, it is concretized. The caste system has concretized and made Varna irrelevant. That is because of few people who are in power, like the king, don't want to give the kingdom to anybody but except his son, even though the son is not able enough to do. Because of that, the caste system came. So, originally we don't have a problem. Subsequently, with the few vested interest, it converted into the caste system which we have right now. Now, the problem with the caste system is, in Varna system, always Brahmins are top. But in caste system, Brahmins are not top, on the higher rank. It depends on the area. Some places, Kshatriyas, that is the warrior group, are dominating. In some places, Brahmins are dominating. Some places, different persons are dominating.
But where they are getting the respect, sir, everywhere.
That's different matter. Okay, this is what we are understanding about. And when it comes to religion, the Indian Constitution is very, very clear. You have a right to profess, practice, propagate one's own religion. It's a very, very wide protection given for you. And at the same time, by looking at the Indian social phenomena, they impose two restrictions, that is in the public order and to bring social reforms in the religion. Restrictions could be imposed because animal sacrifice is one of the practice, but that is prohibited and you cannot say that it is violation of my religious belief. So to bring social reforms, state can impose restrictions. And similarly, Article 26 clearly says you have a right to administer your own religious institutions. Every religion can start their own institution, their own preachings, allowed. And 27 prohibits any tax on promotion of religion. Any religion promoting their ideas, no tax could be imposed. And Article 28 is very specific. You cannot preach religious instructions in the state-aided colleges or state-run educational institutions. But if it is a private or if it is run by a religious sect, then you can preach. But for others, you cannot. So there is a very, very clear, broad protection for the religion in India. And the instances that Sumedha has talked about are the aberrations that happens in every society. The first one that she talked about is the Ayodhya issue. There is a dispute about that's the birthplace of the god Ram, who is supposed to be the very renowned god in Hindu mythology. So the dispute is whether the temple was demolished and built by the mosque, by the king. A mosque was built on that. It's a long-standing dispute. It is unfortunate it was demolished. But that doesn't mean we have no secularism in India. It's only one particular incident. Some people did, we don't endorse it. And a case was filed in the High Court. The High Court has recently given judgments of thousands of pages, which none of us are happy because it doesn't really reflect the legal acumen in deciding the case. There's a lot of criticism openly criticized by the same Hindus. And the another issue of Gujarat that she talked about, the Godra carnage, is always when there are more than one religion, the religious conflicts are bound to happen. And we also respond against them. And there are cases filed against them. And the inquiry is going on. Of course, again, we know how it takes place. There are aberrations. But doesn't mean that India is not secular. Look at the surroundings of India. Is only India had a stable government from 1950. If you look at the history, every time India had some kind of an adversary, people predict India is going to collapse. And one of the major concerns for the Britishers is, if we give independence to India, can it rule by itself? And we proved that we can. And all the surrounding countries for India are either religious, and none of them have any stable governments. Only India had a stable government for the last 60 years and still survive as a democracy. Yes.
I think there's some confusion about what you mean by secular, because I think secular is different in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
The word secular
What do you understand from US?
non-religious.
Yes.
No religion.
If you look at your $1 bill, what they write there?
In God we trust.
What they write?
No, I think the word, when you speak about India being secular, you don't mean it's non-religious.
It is not religious.
We don't mean that in the US.
It doesn't mean we are not religious.
Well, I mean, I
Secular
don't
means,
There's no national.
State has no official
but
religion.
it doesn't mean you can't be religious.
That's not what I said, man.
What do you mean by non-religious then?
If I see something as secular, if someone says something is secular, then I think it means it's not particularly about a religion, any religion at all. That's what I mean by the word
Yeah,
secular.
same with India, there's no
Yeah.
set religion.
There's no-
It's not, yeah, it's not religious, there's no
Yeah, I
set
know.
religion. You can-
But this is a controversial, this I understand.
Like if I answer, India doesn't have what you said. Like Pakistan has a state religion. That's why it's called
Yeah.
Pakistan Islamic State.
It's
Yeah.
Islamic
Yeah.
Republic of
It's
Pakistan.
either called India or Bharat. What he said yesterday. In Indian constitution, it's India or Bharat, a secular state. Whereas non-secular states, like I gave you example of Pakistan, then there's Bangladesh and so on.
But there
Nepal.
are different definitions
Nepal.
of secular.
Hindu kingdom. They're called
It's a Hindu.
kingdom.
It's not ruled by like Hindu
It's
law.
not non-religious.
Like you can't.
The state has no official religion of its own, and it doesn't promote any religion, nor discourage religion. Because when Sumedha says that there are different personal laws, one way of looking at it is it's non-secular, but the other way you look at it is more secular. That's why we are respecting your religion. Your personal laws are based on your religion. As long as it is not too arbitrary, we allow. So the Muslims have their own personal law, Christians have their own personal law, Hindus have their own personal law. So this is more secular.
I think the trouble you get into is you start the course to start defining what is religion.
Yes,
And that's the
But
difference.
sir, there is one thing. Do you think that also there is some kind of the trials from the political party, like BJP, that to transfer India to be Hindu? Because one thing,
It would never happen. India would never convert into
but
any
there is
religious
one thing,
country.
sir. The group of the political party of the BJP.
And what happened to BJP? Bought the lust from last 2 years. Last two times
Just have to keep an eye on
lost.
time.
No.
I think we could move on because of the time. We can discuss in the evening
We're going to have
as a
an
student
evening
discussion.
discussion, so just keep your ideas, but let's get through the next
Next
two groups.
Maybe we should break and continue.
What we do is with this group we will break and then continue in the evening as a group discussion.
Sure.
Because we have to get the bus and we
Bus
have to have lunch. and-
So we finish this one group. Can we finish one more group? Good. Yeah.
If you don't try.
I'm not talking.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't good. I was going to weak on any one of these. No, but you don't have to resolve it.
Okay, let's get started.
So,
Now we're talking about rights of abuse. Really, let's not get out of it.
So we'll talk about rights of accused in India. So we basically follow the theory of natural justice, which says audio altrum partem and nemo judex in causa sua, which means no man should be condemned unheard and no one can be a judge of his own cause. So we have a right to be represented by the lawyer under the Criminal Procedure Code in India. And we have a concept of legal aid whereby every person is provided legal aid by the state in case of a criminal trial, which has certain exceptions such as maybe trafficking I think. And we have a concept of habeas corpus. So if you're detained illegally for more than 24. So if you are caught by the police, they have to produce you before a magistrate within 24 hours. And if that is not done, you can file a writ under Article 32, which is the right to constitutional remedies, and you'll have to be produced before the magistrate then and there. So that's the right of habeas corpus. But there are certain enactments like the Prevention of Terrorism Act, which takes away this right of habeas corpus. Then we are a signatory to ICCPR. So according to Optional Protocol 2, we have a right. So no torture is allowed by the police, and we have due process of law. The prisoners are the state has to follow the due process of law. Then we have a concept of anticipatory bail, which says that if you're anticipating arrest, you can file an anticipatory. You can file for an anticipatory bail, and when the police comes, you can just show that, and then you won't be arrested. So, we have a right to bail in certain cases. So there are basically two segregations: bailable and non-bailable offences. So in the bailable offences, you have a right to bail. That is, the bail has to be granted to you. Whereas in non-bailable offences, even though you can appeal for bail, you can't. It's on the discretion of the judge. So we have the right to equality before law. So all religions and everybody is treated equally in case of any trial. And the charge sheet by the police has to be filed within 90 days, and if that is not done, the person who is arrested or accused has to be let free on bail. So he has a right to bail after that, even in non-bailable offences. That's about it.
Okay. For the U.S., we operate under the value of someone who's innocent until proven guilty, and our Fifth Amendment pretty much outlines the criminal due process. You have the right to remain silent so that you don't self-incriminate, and you don't have to testify at a trial.
Natalie, could you speak up a little bit?
Okay. You're also free from arbitrary detention. The Sixth Amendment, you have the right to a trial by a jury of your peers, but you actually have a choice. If you want to waive that right, you can have a bench trial, which we discovered in the U.S. a bench trial, it's just one judge. And the Sixth Amendment also gives you a right to a speedy trial. We realize that an offense that would take at maximum a year to go to the courts would take as long as 10 years here in India. You also have the right to confront any of the witnesses that will be used against you during a trial. You have the right to hear any charges brought against you, so you know what crime you're being accused of as well. And you also have your guaranteed counsel. And then with the Eighth Amendment, there's no cruel and unusual punishment. I guess that's for debate on some issues. And then also, there's no excessive bail. Am I missing anything?
But we don't have a constitutional right to bail in the U.S., right? No excessive bail, but no constitutional right.
It's not a constitutional right in bail in India also. They don't specifically mention.
The U.S. Constitution, Eighth Amendment says no excessive bail.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But there's no right to bail. In Nevada, there's a right.
We have a right to bail.
There's a Salerno case, but
and also I think
not under the Constitution.
There is a right against indefinite detention in the U.S., which has been a major issue in immigration cases where people are just held indefinitely until deportation.
We have 24 hours to be produced before.
Yeah, it was Hamdi or Hamdan.
There is derived a right against indefinite detention.
So where does
and many state statutes will give you the right to bail with the exception of capital crimes or treason. Right. That's a common.
I'm sorry, where did the right to bail in India come from?
That is
the Criminal Procedure Code.
Okay.
Not under the Constitution.
But the general tendency of the court is bail, not jail. So release as many as possible if it is bail. Of course, if it is a bailable offense, no option for the court. They must give.
They have to give a bail.
They have to.
Thank you.
So what we do is, because we are running short of time, and in the evening we are having a student discussion. That time we will continue the remaining three groups. So
Can I say
Two more.
something about our evening discussions? So what we thought about for the evening discussions is that each day that we have a discussion planned, one group of students would take the lead in facilitating that discussion. So we can just use the groups we formed today just for ease. So who did the death penalty? Nima, so your group, Group 5, will facilitate the discussion tonight. And you can start by doing your presentation in Group 6, and then we'll have an overall just discussion of where we go today. So we're going to the courts today, and where else are we going?
The International, Indian Institute of Social Science.
So we're going to a labor rights organization and to the criminal courts. So Nima, your group will facilitate our discussion of the field experiences. So you might want to just touch base over dinner just to think of some questions to ask to get the discussion going.
Please be at the bus at 1:30 sharp, because it's a long walk.
So should we ask them to?
Yeah, but